Imagine if you only needed to spend 10 minutes a month of your time to write email campaigns and send them out to your email list and just be able to do it as many times as you'd like while still having the emails sound more like you than you actually do when you write them. Now, if you run your business online, you obviously likely market it online. And when you're marketing it online, you should be collecting leads information, right? Building a leads list, whether it's through like an opt-in form on your website or it's through a lead magnet of some sort. Regardless, you should have a list of potential customers that didn't book a call or didn't buy from you. And what you need to be doing is you need to make sure that these leads are receiving email campaigns from you that urge them to purchase or book a call. And there's typically two ways for you to do this. Way number one is that you actually do it yourself, right? And this is usually what people tend to do when they're starting out. Obviously, the other way is that you go ahead and hire some type of agency or a team that's proficient in email marketing. Now, usually doing it yourself doesn't actually end up making sense because you have to, one, actually learn the skill of writing. Writing is not an easy skill at all, especially when you have to convey emotions through words. Now, if you're not a language arts major, you're not an English major, you didn't learn rhetoric, you likely don't have the skill, so you're gonna have to spend tens of hours to learn the skill first to be able to even write the emails in the first place. The second thing is ideation, right? You have to come up with the ideas that you're going to be writing about in your emails. This is not an easy thing at all because these ideas need to be, one, relatable. So when the customer reads it or the lead reads the actual email that you send out, it needs to make sense to them and they need to be able to relate to you through the words that you're typing in the email. So you have to come up with good ideas, ways of relating things about your past history, your personal brand to the outcome they want to get to or whatever it is that you're selling, which is exactly why most people actually never end up doing this and they just end up putting it off, right? Doing it yourself is one of those things that's like, I'll just do it myself. I'll figure it out later. And you end up not prioritizing it when in reality, every day that goes by with you having the lead and them not getting emails, the less likely they are to buy from you, right? The second way to do this is you go with an agency. Now, the issue is with an agency, typically they charge anywhere from $2,000 to $5,000 a month in retainer form to write these emails for you consistently, which again is not cheap at all, especially if you're starting out. If you're making 10, 15, 20 grand a month, it doesn't make sense to hire a copywriter for 5 grand a month to get an extra 2 or 3 deals in potentially when you have a lot of other things you need to fix with the money that you have, whether it's fulfillment or operations or hiring salespeople. So that's typically why people don't do it and just don't go with an agency. The second thing is you have to actually search for a good one, right? If you're not very well connected in the space, you're going to look up copywriting agency. You're going to try to find them on Instagram, whatever, right? And when you do that, you literally have no idea if they're going to be good at what they claim to be good at or not until you try, which means you're risking money. And that's typically why people also end up putting this option off. Now, what if I told you, because of the advancement of AI, you actually have a third option now, which is that you literally let AI write the emails for you and you don't actually have to lift a finger or hire anybody to do it. You also have to obviously set it up, but you're probably wondering, well, if I'm giving it to AI, aren't the emails going to be low quality? Aren't they going to sound like they're being written by AI? And the answer is no. Now, if we take a look over here, this is one of our clients at ScaleFuse who we set up an email marketing system for, and they literally have to spend 10 minutes a month to manage. Their first campaign ever that they sent out actually ended up getting a 33.3% open rate within like a day and a half. And obviously, if you know anything about email marketing, open rates don't actually matter that much, but it's a decent tail to know that your leads list is actually curious about what you're sending out. And the second thing is this actually ended up getting about a 4% click-through rate, which again is within a day and a half, not bad at all, given that this was completely written by AI. And I'm talking about the actual writing, the ideation, everything was done by AI. And now what's super cool is that you can literally generate an unlimited amount of emails if you just set this up correctly. And I just want you to keep in mind that 4% click-through rate, let's just say you sent this out to 1,000 people, that's a very good number. That's 40 people that could click on the link that could potentially book a call, and an extra 2 or 3 deals a month is going to make a huge difference. As long as you're not allocating an insane amount of resources to your email marketing and that you're not, spending tens of hours a week on it as well. Now you're probably wondering, well, how the hell do we get the AI to actually sound like us? How do we get it to be a high conversion? And how do we make sure it doesn't sound like AI? And how are you claiming that it's better than an actual copywriting agency? It's actually super simple. So if you take a look right here, this is what the system we built looks like. This actually was built specifically in make.com. You can literally do this with any API integration tool like Zapier, make.com. There's a bunch of other ones that you can use. I think Bubble even has a version now. The key here is that we're not telling the AI to write an email on its own. Hey, write me an email telling people to book a call, because that email is going to be terrible. What we're actually do is we're giving it the themes to write about. we're giving it the brand owner's context, which in this case is you, just personal background about yourself, and then we're having it write the email based off of that. So let me actually break this down with you step by step so you know what I'm talking about. So the first step in this workflow, and this is extremely important, is that we actually get email themes. And getting email themes, you're probably wondering, well, what the hell is an email theme? I want you to think about any email you've ever read and just think about the tonality you're getting from the email, right? Like the style of the email, the emotions you feel when you're reading the email. That's kind of what the theme is. So it's all about style, emotion, and for the most part, you have to obviously, understand the language behind it. Like what kind of language is being used? Is it super advanced? Is it kind of like more low key in terms of, vocabulary? So what we do is we actually pick 30 to 50 email themes, so emails that we like. So 30 to 50 emails that you like from a provider or a business that does email marketing in your niche and you feel like it's good. For example, if you're a fitness coach, you probably follow a bunch of fitness coaches. You literally can just go sign up for their mailing list and then start receiving emails. And any email that you think is good, just note it down, save it, whatever. Now, when you go and make this document, by the way, we've dummied this down a little bit, like an actual system would look a little bit more, it'll have a little bit more steps than this, but just to explain it a little bit simply, where let's just say putting it in a Google document, 50 themes. We're titling each theme by title, email 1, email 2, email 3, email 4. And then we're gating a open AI, which is an AI, ChatGPT module. This is not just a regular ChatGPT prompt where you can just tell it do something. We're specifically telling it to randomly pick one of the 30 to 50 themes that we have in the initial document. And we're specifically telling it to not pay attention and not have it be based on quality. Why do we do this? Because again, you're going to run this scenario and the system is going to go through this whole process literally like 3 times a week. So you don't want it to go pick the same email every time if it's doing it based off of quality, because it's an algorithm. It's going to think about the same email every time you give it that 30 and say pick one. So we literally just say randomly pick one. There should be a 1 in 30 chance of you picking that email. And we engineer that into the prompt so that then when the email is being written, it's specifically based off of that one theme it picked. And you're going to have 30 new emails every single month that are just cycling through. So obviously you can go back and add more themes, so on and so forth. You can change them after a while, and that takes not too long at all. The third step in this actual workflow here is that we get the brand owner's context. Now, again, you have a personal background. There's a reason people watch your videos. There's a reason people relate to you, whether you're selling B2B or B2C. Something about the way you were talking or your background or your personal context made people interested. And that's what we want to make sure we're calling before we tell the AI to write the actual email. We want to give it that context so it writes the email from your perspective. So I literally mean if you do this correctly, the email will morph into a version of you because it'll have context on what you had to do to get to X, Y, and Z point. If you're a fitness coach, your brand owner's context in that document, you can have things like, when you, or what your goal was originally, right? When you hit your goal, right? That obviously, it matters how long ago it was where you were in that position that the customer's in. So things like that are all going to be super relevant. Why you hit that goal, right? Like what was your motivating factor? Why did you want to get in shape, right? So all of these things we're going to go ahead and feed to the actual prompt that's going to write the email. This AI here, this specific step number 4, is going to factor in the brand owner's context. So step number 3, it's going to factor in the email that was randomly picked from step number 2, obviously originally from step number 1. When that's being said, this email specifically is going to sound like you when it's being written, because again, we're giving it your context. 2, it's going to have the tonality and the style and the convincingness of the initial email that it picked from the themes. If you picked a good amount of emails that were actually good quality in your theme document, any email out of that 30 is going to be good. So it'll actually have, a good sense of appealing to emotions, and it'll know kind of like how to use those emotions that it can trigger in people when they're reading the email to then get them to do whatever you want it to do. So if you want the people that read the email to book a call, it'll tell them book a call. If you want the email to get them to watch a video, it'll tell them to watch a video. How would it know? You actually feed that into the prompt. So in each prompt, like when I say a prompt, I mean like a message to the AI. This specific module right here, write email, has about 6 messages. One message we're telling it, write it and don't include any extra characters. One message is we're telling it, use the brand owner's context. Here it is, we're feeding it the brand owner's context. One message we're like, use the theme that is provided in this text, and we give it the theme. So it's a lot of messages in one request that we're giving to the AI, and then it produces it and actually even feeds it to another AI, which is going to be step number 5, to write the subject line. And we're specifically telling it to have the subject line be clickbaity, believe it or not, actually knows what that means. So clickbaity, that way it can increase the open rate, right? So having a good subject line is probably one of the things that got us this 33.3% open rate on, the first day and a half. I think it's actually higher than that now. So we're writing the subject email, and then we're delivering the final email, let's just say to a Google Doc, where you can then copy paste it in your email campaign sending software and just have it be sent. That could be ActiveCampaign, that could be MailChimp. Now again, this is if you have specific providers that don't have very good integrations. If you use a software like MailChimp, this is what's super, super cool. You can actually have it automatically send out the campaign to your list, and you can have a quality control system. You probably don't want to have the email just be sent out without you reading it, which is very understandable, which is exactly why what you could do is you can build this type of router system into the integration, and you can have let's just say the email, when it's done and it's delivered, have it be sent to, let's say, Slack, right? Like if you use Slack for team communications, you can have it be sent to a Slack module. So it'll, in the chat, you wake up at 8 a.m. when it's done, and it's like, hey, here's the email we produced today, check it out. And then it has the email in there. And so when that message is sent, you actually have two options. Option number one is you give it a yes, right? If you type yes, you like the email, it can actually create the actual campaign in MailChimp or whatever service you're using if it has these integrations. If it doesn't, you can still kind of set it up, but this is a little bit easier if you use MailChimp. Writing the campaign, it'll actually go and edit the campaign itself. It'll take whatever was delivered in the final email, it'll then go and put it in the actual campaign, and then it can send out the campaign, and you can choose what list you want it to send out to when you're setting up this module, and you can change that up whenever you want. Now, let's just say you say no and you don't like the email. What you can program it to do is you can program it to run a scenario. What's a scenario? It's actually this whole thing we have up here from the start. So if you actually just want it to write another email because you don't like the one that you saw for any reason, it'll just go through here again. It'll get the email theme, randomly pick another email. And again, you have a 1 in 30 chance of getting the same email twice. If you have 50 emails, it's a 1 in 50. If you have 100 emails in there, it's 1 in 100. So it's super, super cool. And then it'll just go through this whole process again, come back down to Slack. Now you can choose again. Do you want it to be sent out or do you not want it to be sent out? Again, you don't have to do this router step at all. I have clients that literally just want it to be delivered to a Google Doc. They want to be able to copy it, paste it, send out the email themselves. It's completely up to you how you want to do it. What's super cool here though, and kind of like what I want you to get from this is you're kind of getting the best of both worlds, right? You're getting the best of having you do it yourself because you're not paying an agency 10 grand a month or 50 or 5 grand a month to actually do this for you. You're still having good emails. You're having it come up with good ideas because you're feeding it so much information about you. And on top of that, you're kind of getting the quality of an agency. So like you're basically getting the best of both worlds, and you're able to then not obviously get yourself to keep putting this off, and eventually get some more deal flow in from your specific emails. Now the next thing I want to show you is one of the emails that it actually outputted. This is for one of our clients. This is specifically for a TikTok shop coaching offer. So the owner runs a TikTok shop. He does hundreds of thousands of dollars a month from it, and he has a coaching offer where he teaches people how to do that. Specifically, this email was written through the exact same workflow I'm showing you right here. We basically gave it email themes. We gave it some brand owner's context. By the way, when you actually have to do your brand owner's context and you're giving it information about yourself, it doesn't have to be just a document that you write. Like, that's not how it has to be. What's super, super cool, and if you're interested, I can make a video about this, is you can literally have a system where you go and you transcribe your own videos. Like if you post on TikTok or social media, you can take 30, 50, 100 of your own posts, transcribe them into text, and then just have a document of the transcripted text of your post and have that be the brand owner's context. So a lot of the things you say in your videos, it'll then start saying in the emails. So again, this is limitless. Like this is just a prototype version that I'm kind of dummying down. So now I want to show you two super, super important things about the email. So now if we take a look, it says percent first name %. You're wondering why does it say that? It's because with softwares that send out emails, like mass emails, they usually have some type of field name like this, so that when you actually put it in the campaign and you send it out, it'll just take the contact's name that's on your list and just put it there as first name, make it more personable. So we can literally tell the AI to produce whatever the field name is that it needs to have. Sometimes it's percent first name %. Sometimes it's like first name _. It's every campaign software has it set up a little bit differently. But it says, let me be real with you. Making serious cash with TikTok Shop is not going to be a walk in the park. At first, it's going to be tough, brutal even. I just want you to look at the pausing, right? The commas, the grammar is very good. You're going to want to quit. You'll doubt yourself. Friends will give you those sideways glances, wondering why you're glued to your phone while they're out partying. So it's you. It just knows that TikTok Shop means you're glued to your phone. It knows that you probably want you're gonna want to get appeal to your FOMO, right? Your fear of missing out. It's like, you don't want to miss out and go to parties while you could be glued on your phone and making TikTok Shop money. Essentially what it knows is that it needs to trigger certain emotions in you, and it literally just knows that based off of the brand owner's context that you give it, and just the fact that it's AI, it's an algorithm, it's a huge database. So if you tell it it's for a TikTok Shop coaching program and you feed it one of these themes, it'll take, like, okay, it's a fitness coaching offer. In one of the email themes you gave it, the email was talking about how being in good shape is going to help you get, I don't know, like a girlfriend, right? Like it's going to know these things from the email that it takes and just pour them all together into this magical concoction. And again, because you're giving it brand owner context, you could take a look right here and you can see it says, I'm sitting on a 6-figure TikTok Shop empire that took me from valet parking cars for minimum wage to never needing a regular job again. And that's true about my client. They literally did that. And we know this from the brand owner's context. So it took it, put it in the email when relevant, and just finish the email. You could keep reading if you'd like, but what's super cool is it'll tell them, if you're serious about smiling at your bank account and saying goodbye to that 9 to 5 forever, hit that button below. Again, you can control how aggressive or non-aggressive these emails are as well, like the temperature of it. But usually this would have like a button right here that says next step, or something like that, or you can have a hyperlink. It's up to you, and that can be tracked so you know how many calls you're getting from your email. But you're literally you're done. That's it. The email gets sent out and you are done. Now, that being said, you want to make sure that you do this properly. Like some things that we need to watch out for, which is one of the most important parts. You never ever want to spam out these AI emails, even though they're actually probably not even AI detectable. Like if you write an email like that and you take it and you put it in like a humanizer text detector, it's probably not even going to know it's AI because we fed it so much context that's custom. But never spam your list, because with a lot of campaign softwares like MailChimp, ActiveCampaign, or whatever, they actually start to decrease your deliverability rate, or they might actually even ban you from using the software if you send out more than, like, I'd say a good amount is 3 to 5 times a week, is like a good amount, but you don't want to instantly send out. So don't instantly send out an email to your list, because the issue is that you're not warmed up yet. Like your actual campaign is going to be sent out with a domain that's not warmed up. So like that's a new domain, it's a new email. You've never sent emails from it for the most part. So you should start off sending 40 to 50 emails at a time, and then slowly start increasing. So slowly add, I don't know, let's just say 100 people at a time, 150 to 200 at a time, and you can just start increasing that until you get to your maximum amount on your list. And then once you're regularly sending out emails, they're good quality, people are clicking on them, whatever, it'll just increase your kind of like your reputation with a lot of email host providers. You also want to make sure that you're not just having the AI write general emails, so no general emails at all. Because again, if I read an email that I get in a list, or let's just say I'm subscribed to something or a newsletter, and I can clearly tell it's written by AI, instantly it's a turn off and you're losing me as a customer. So you never want to have it send general emails, and you want to always make sure there's no such thing as too much context that you give it in these documents. So always make sure that you're actually giving it enough context. And lastly, you want to make sure that you test this properly. So you really need proper and thorough testing. Testing includes you having it just write emails and it only goes to you, and then you go ahead and just like make sure they sound good. Obviously read the quality. Again, you're not having this automatically sent out without any type of verification, which is why you're still fine regardless, but it's always good to test. Obviously building a system like this is not easy at all. You're going to have error codes, but we've already kind of went through all of that and made sure that everything runs smoothly. You're going to notice that if you literally like a one word difference in what you tell the AI to do, it's going to change the whole email. So it's super important to test this thoroughly and to make sure that you have the process set up correctly. And so now I know you're probably thinking, like, I'm not a developer. I don't know how to build a system like this. And I'm probably going to keep putting it off because the concept sounds cool, but I don't know how to do it. Which again, I genuinely think you can learn any skill if you just dedicate yourself to it. But if you don't want to have to do this yourself and you want us to just come in and install the system for you, my company SkillFuse can actually do that. And we'll calibrate the system to your actual personal brand's context. Like we will go in, we will take 50, 100, 150 of your own content pieces that you have on social media, and we'll take the transcription from them and feed it to the AI so the system sounds like you. We'll pick the email themes that we want to be using in the system. So we'll go and look at your niche, look at your competitors, we'll look at who has good emails, gather the email list together, and we'll literally just set up the entire thing for you, done for you, if it makes sense. So if you want to see if it actually makes sense, you can actually go in the bio. There's just a calendar link you could click. This call goes directly with me. That way I can actually be the one that makes sure this actually makes sense for you. And if it does, we'll go ahead and kind of talk about the options that you have to move forward. Other than that, if you felt like I kind of knew what I was talking about, you want to learn more cool ways you can systemize your business, make sure you drop a subscribe and just tune in for the next few videos. And also comment below any questions you have, because I will respond to every question personally. Peace.